boys and girls, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. This is the review of Star Wars Disney Plus show Ahsoka, which dropped the first two episodes on Disney Plus this past Tuesday night. And this has been a highly anticipated show for Star Wars fans galore, especially if you are a fan of the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. This is basically a continuation of that show, of those animated shows in live action. We get returning characters from those shows, and it was a breath of fresh air. I'm not the Star Wars aficionado when it comes to Clone Wars and Rebels per se, but I watched enough to know what's going on in Ahsoka, so I was happy with that. But is it a need? Not really. It helps. It helps because they are mentioning characters who aren't on screen, but you would know if you watch those two animated series. So, yeah, I guess you would. You would need to know a little bit about those characters and those shows in order to keep up with Ahsoka. But I will say, watching these first two episodes and getting the story down, you pretty much know where it's heading, despite the fact that you probably don't know the backstory of all these characters. But for all of the Star Wars geeks out there like myself, I was in hog heaven watching this show. Ahsoka is a character that was written by Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni is, I guess you could say, the number two man behind George Lucas when it comes to Star Wars. That is, Dave Filoni is the man that George Lucas felt should take over for him. I guess you could say he was George Lucas' Padawan, for Star Wars fans who would know. But this is his baby. Ahsoka is his jam. And so I was excited to see that he got the opportunity to bring this character to live action. The first episode was written and directed by Dave Filoni. The show brings Rosario Dawson back as Ahsoka Tano, following the character's live action debut on another Disney show, Disney Plus show, should I say, The Mandalorian. And the character's backstory stretches well beyond her interactions with Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and Grogu. It goes all the way back, as I said, to 2008 in the animated film The Clone Wars, as she is a teenage Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. And we all know Anakin Skywalker later becomes Darth Vader and has a long and significant history in the Star Wars canon. In the animated series, The Clone Wars and Rebels, Ahsoka walked the path of the Jedi before ultimately rejecting the Order. And she survived the Jedi Purge, Order 66. She aided the rebellion against the Empire. She teamed up with the infamous Ghost Crew, resistant fighters, and even battled Darth Vader. Her former master turned to the dark side in an epic lightsaber duel on Rebels. That was, I'm telling you, if you go back to that episode, I can't think of that episode's title and which season it was in, but just search it, Google it. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere on YouTube. It was epic. Watch that episode and you'll be caught up on everything. It was. I'm telling you, it's one of those iconic Star Wars moments. Ahsoka picks up where the title character's storyline left off in that season finale of Rebels, which aired in 2018, I believe, and left the fates of several of the fan favorites from them shows from the Ghost Crew open-ended. Ezra being lost, General Thrawn being lost, sucked into exile. Those two. Actually, Ezra sacrificing himself. It was heartbreaking, to say the least. Um, this is set within the same timeline as The Mandalorian. The events of Ahsoka take place several years after the fall of the Empire in Return of the Jedi. So this is a period of time where the New Republic, formed by the rebellion after their victory over the Empire, retains control over the galaxy. So we pick up in episode 1 of Ahsoka. We see Balin Scroll, who is portrayed by the late Ray Stevenson, who passed away a couple of months ago, tragically. And man, I love Ray Stevenson. Ray Stevenson, uh, if you don't know who he was in the Thor films. He was the Punisher in Punisher Warzone, which is one of my favorite portrayals of that comic book character. In many other roles, Ray Stevenson was a gem, and we lost him. But this is one of his final roles, and he's playing this former Jedi who's fallen to the dark side, and he has an apprentice, and they board this ship of the New Republic and take back one of their prisoners, who is the Imperial Magistrate, Morgan Elizabeth. And that was an epic scene. It was just to start off with action like that and get you pretty much set the tone of what's to come. I thought that was a good move, and it set the motivations of your villains. You know right off the bat what they're after and what they're trying to do. They're trying to locate General Thrawn, and so now you're caught up to speed with that. This cold open immediately sets the scene. And so you know right off the bat. Rebels, which was set after the Revenge of the Sith and between A New Hope, centered on a small rebel cell known as Spectres, or the Ghost Crew, that primarily operated out of the Outer Rim planets. Their motivation, or their activity, should I say, drew the attention of Thrawn, one of the Imperial's top commanders. Members of the Ghost Crew consisted of Ahsoka, Sabine, who is a Mandalorian herself, Hera, Caden, and his apprentice Ezra Bridger. And so that was the crew. Now, following Caden's death in the finale of the animated show, we saw the remains of Spectre go up against Thrawn to save this Outer Rim planet from the Empire. In that battle ended with Ezra, who was wanted by Palpatine for his connection to the world between the worlds. That was his force power. He was able to communicate with the world between the world, which is a mysterious plane in the force. Not too many force sensitive people have this ability, and Ezra was that rare one who can communicate with this plane. It can touch every point of time and space, and very valuable for both sides of the force, whether you a Jedi or on the dark side. And so Ezra ended up sacrificing himself by boarding Thrawn's ship and summoning these space whales that captured Thrawn's fleet and vanished into hyperspace with both Thrawn and Ezra aboard. So they were lost. And so now you caught up with that. The search for them is paramount in the show. That's the MacGuffin here. And if you're searching, if the dark side is searching for Thrawn, believing him to be alive, that must mean that Ezra is also alive. And so, moving on back to Ahsoka, when we're reunited with Ahsoka in this premiere, She's searching for a map that holds the key to Thorne's whereabouts and also possibly Ezra's. So after finding the map, she reconvenes with Hera, who is portrayed by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is now a general in the New Republic. And it's funny because Mary Elizabeth Winstead is married to Ewan McGregor, who is Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I guess it's all in the family, you know. And I thought that was real interesting that this couple is a part of the Star Wars canon in lore, you know. So Hera, she suggests she seek out her former apprentice Sabine, who can unlock the map. Unfortunately, Sabine and Ahsoka aren't on the same page now, because Ahsoka had also left Sabine in the middle of her training, so she is not fully trained in the ways of the Jedi. Uh, so there's a rift there in that relationship, but she does connect with her and try to get her to help her. But Sabine ends up taking the map on her own, which leads to her being in a duel with the Padawan of Balin, and they go at it. It was a nice lightsaber battle that they had, which left Sabine wounded when she was stabbed through the stomach by the apprentice. And I thought that was like, wow, man, this is how this show is going, huh? Um, we're starting off hot, and that was the end of the first episode. So we fast forward to episode 2, and Sabine is recovering from being stabbed and defeated in this lightsaber duel. And I failed to mention that she had unlocked the map. And so when she lost the fight with I think the character name is Shine or Shin. I can't remember. I know it's started with S. But anyways, she got in possession. She took the map from her. And so the map did reveal the pathway to where between galaxies that supposedly leads to where Thawne and Ezra disappeared all those years ago. And so now is a race to find to find where this map leads. With Thawne posed to become heir to the Empire, if he returns in the hope of finding Ezra reignited, we have Ahsoka, Sabine, and Hera once again joining forces in a mission to prevent another war as the episode draws to a close. And we get another epic fight throughout this episode with Ahsoka and this assassin droid, which was awesome. That was another awesome battle, and we see how much of a beast Ahsoka is. So at the end of this episode, Ahsoka and Sabine reunite. Sabine gets her Mandalorian helmet. She cuts her hair, and she's in her full Mandalorian get up. And the two decide to go after the map and hopefully find Ezra, as Ahsoka referred to Sabine as her Padawan once again, and the episode goes off. This was 2 really good episodes to throw us back into this world of Clone Wars, Rebels, and now Ahsoka. I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoyed this. This was Star Wars to me. As much as a fan as I am of Mandalorian, as much as I, for the most part, enjoyed Obi-Wan, I didn't really care for the Book of Boba Fett, but I do enjoy these Star Wars shows along with the films, of course. But this felt like Star Wars. This felt like a return to form in this franchise, and it was such a good watch to watch these 2 episodes back to back. I got mad at the end of the second episode because I wanted more. You know, I was wishing that we could have got a binge of all of these episodes, but it's fine. If we're gonna go week to week, fine. I'll live with it. But this was a good start to this show. Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka is doing a marvelous job in this role. It's almost as she was born to play this role of Ahsoka. If you watch the character in those two shows, you know, you know that she's a little feisty, you know, a little arrogant, and a monster. I mean, she was trained by Anakin Skywalker. What more? What do you expect? And she is amazing in this role. I really truly enjoy her character. I mean, she's the title character, so she has to hold it together. And Rosario Dawson, this isn't like her first rodeo. She is a seasoned actress, and she knows what she's doing, and she's handling it perfectly in my eyes. I can't wait to see what's next for this show. I'm not gonna grade these two episodes just like I did for what was the last I think it was Secret Invasion. I'm not gonna grade it episode to episode. I'm gonna wait to the end, and we're going to grade the episodes as such. There are 8 episodes into the season, which means there's 6 episodes remaining. Episode 3 coming next Tuesday on Disney Plus. So I look forward to that, and it will be week to week moving forward. So I would like to know, how do you feel about Ahsoka thus far? Are you enjoying it? Were you a big Clone Wars Rebels fan? If you were and you're not watching Ahsoka, you're missing out. This is a continuation of that. It picks up right where that leaves off, should I say, even though it's years apart, but the story picks up exactly where we left off last in Rebels. And so I'm enjoying this. I really am. I have high hopes for this show. I had high hopes going in, hoping I wasn't disappointed, and so far, I'm not. I know it's only 2 episodes in. It could poo the bed going forward, but so far, I'm loving it. I would like to know, how are you enjoying it? Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also look me up on all social media platforms. Just look up the KB Radio Network. Also on YouTube, look for the KB Radio Network channel. Subscribe and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everyone, thank you for joining me with this review of Disney Plus Star Wars Ahsoka. Oh man, this is exciting. I wasn't planning on reviewing this show, but I was so happy with the results of these first 2 episodes, I had to talk about it. So hopefully I feel the same way going forward every week, and every week moving forward, I will be reviewing these episodes. So don't forget, mark your calendar. After every Ahsoka episode, we will be back to review. Want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love everybody. And until we speak again, you all be blessed.